Hi guys, it's Shelly here. I just wanted to quickly show you my pantry and just to give you some ideas of things that you can do when you're canning or preserving your food. This is sort of like my mess room where everything collects, and this is one of the things that collects here. As you can see, I have some other things behind me and up top and all around the room, to be honest. But it's the only room in the house that I have that keeps things rather cool. There are no windows in here and we keep the vent open, so it stays cool and dark typically. So I'm just going to run through some of the things that we have here. Over here I have some baked beans that I canned. This here is a mango lime salsa that I canned, and this one is as well. The only difference between the two of these is that with this one, the mangoes are quite chunky. It's a sweeter salsa, but it is absolutely delicious. This one here, the mangoes are finer, and there's a little more heat to this one. So, you get the taste of the lime, which I really like as well. This here is a spicy crabapple jelly. That's really, really good with a pork tenderloin. It's very easy to make as well. By the way, if there are any things that I go through that you would actually like to see me do videos of, I could definitely do that for you. So just leave a comment below. This one here is one of my favorites. It's an onion jam, and it is so good with meatloaf, or if you're doing a braised pork chops or something like that. This is one of my favorite recipes that I did this year. It's a new one. It's an apple blueberry barbecue sauce, and this is amazing. We did some wings the other day, and when I do wings, what I do is I will do a dry rub on them and then cook them in the oven, and then I will toss them in a barbecue sauce and air fry them for a little bit. And that was really good. And this is another new one that I did this year. It's a spicy peach barbecue sauce, and this was incredible as well. Both are new recipes to me this year. Here's one that I did. It's a marinated mushroom. I don't know if you've seen at the store where they sell the marinated mushrooms in the little jars that are really good for antipasto plates and that sort of thing, or platters. And to be honest, I haven't tried this one yet because it hasn't had enough time to set. I just did that in September. So here's something called cowgirl candy. So you've probably heard of cowboy candy, which is jalapenos that are just done in a syrupy type brine or sauce, and it's sweet and heat. This one is a little bit different because there's actually pineapple in it as well, and so it's called cowgirl candy, and it is amazing on sandwiches or anything like that. It's really good. These are just some of my spicy beans. I do them in a dill and with my little red peppers from the hot peppers from the garden. These are my sun-dried tomatoes. I say sun-dried, but they're actually dehydrated. And I just simply do them in an olive oil and cover them in olive oil, and they do not need to be water bath canned or pressure canned. And they're completely immersed in the olive oil. And because it's cool here, they should be fine there. I also have two that I keep in the refrigerator for use now. Now over here, we had a lot of eggplant this year from our garden. And so here I have an eggplant chili. These are two new ones to me as well this year. And this here is eggplant chili, and this is eggplant caponata. Now the chili, you can actually ground some beef up and just put this container in it. It's going to be really good. Eggplant caponata is another one that I did new this year. Not 100% sure I would do it again. It's got a bit of a bite to it because there are olives in it. I've heard the best way to serve this is with the caponata is with a spaghetti squash or noodle of some sort. So maybe if I try it in different recipes or something like that, I might like it. But I'm not 100% sure I would do it again. I'll see what some other people think of it over the course of the winter, as we'll still eat them for sure, as we sort of use them up. These are just the standard cranberries, cranberry sauce. I love having cranberry sauce on hand, and lots of it. We go through a fair amount of that. This is crabapple jelly. Pretty straightforward, simple. Nothing. I put a cinnamon stick in it when I cook it just to give it a little bit of a background taste to it. But other than that, it's nothing fancy. Water bath canned as well. This is something that's a little different maybe for some people. This is an apple pie filling. And I did these about 3 years ago for the first time, and I've been doing them every year ever since. And they make really nice gifts as well. So I did apple pie yesterday, for example, for Thanksgiving, and I used these. It's really good. You just throw it in your crust and top it, and it's fine. And it's delicious. Now, this is one that I really want to talk to you about. So this is, I guess you could call it a crabapple butter. So when I did my crabapple jelly here, what I did was I ran I don't know if you know about making jelly, but I'll just give you a little bit of the backstory. So you take your crab apples, you make sure they're covered in water, you simmer them for a long time, then you run them through a sieve or something, but you don't, make sure you're not stirring it or anything so that you get a nice clear jelly. And then what I did with all of the cores and the apple stuff that was left, I ran it through my tomato mill, got a nice thick paste. Into that paste, I put in, I think it was like a liter of apple cider, and simmered that for a long, long time, and came up with this really delicious butter. And this is absolutely delicious. So I made a little bit of jelly from it. I made a lot of butter from it. And this butter I've been using in different recipes, like I did some scones with it, and I just grated some fresh apples in with it as well. But this has turned out to be a treasure. So every single bit of that crab apples got used, including the pulp. So I could do, like I said, a video on any of these that you want to see. This is a watermelon jelly. That is actually really good because I added some cloves and other things to that. These are all just my different jams, like, and I try to, if it's available, I will actually use organic strawberries. And so these are just all strawberry jams of different types. Down here is my chicken broth. We typically every fall will buy a lot of chickens from a local farmer. And whenever I cook a chicken, I will save the carcass, and then I will do a lot of broth all at once. And when I do that, I usually let it simmer overnight for a long time. This some people may find interesting. So this is actually a moonshine. It's Murphy's Law apple pie moonshine. And what I do is I put vanilla beans in it. And in here, there are probably about 20 vanilla beans. So take this off. Woo, it's dripping a bit because it's overly full. But I'm going to show you something. So I'm making a moonshine, apple pie moonshine vanilla. And these are what the beans look like. So they have to be completely immersed. These are what the vanilla beans look like. So I have about 25 in this one. And what'll happen is they've been in here now for a long time. This one is one of the newer ones though, so I think this one's maybe only been here for 3 months. And I'll let it sit for a year. And I come down, every time I come down, I'll give it a shake. And after a year, I'll strain it out, and I will have a really, really nice flavored homemade vanilla. I have some other ones here as well. And so this one here I put down with an Ironworks Blue Nose rum from Nova Scotia, which is where I'm from. So this one has been down since I think January of 23. So this will be really nice for gifts when Christmas rolls around. This one here is this here's a Basil Hayden bourbon. And it's 17 ounces, and it's Madagascar grade A beans, in case anyone wants to know. So you can get beans from different parts of the world. These are Madagascar ones, which are my favorite ones for cooking, by the way. And this one here I put down with vodka. And again, these three here I put down last year, or this year in January, the end of December. And I did that intentionally because I want to share some with folks for Christmas gifts. I'll strain it off, like I said. Take all of the seeds and things out of the liquid. I'll put it through a cheesecloth, strain it off, and then put it in some cute little decorative bottles as gifts. What I will do with the beans when they are done is when I've used up all of the goodness out of the beans in this, and it's gone into the alcohol to flavor it, I'll take the beans then and put them in sugar. And I'll put it in a half-gallon jar of sugar, the beans, and shake it up. And what'll happen is then I'll create my vanilla sugar with the different flavors, like the apple pie spice from the moonshine, the bourbon, the rum. And so I'll have all of these gallons of sugar also as well from these. So if you're interested in where I got the vanilla beans, I actually belong to I guess it is a co-op, and which we all get together and we buy the beans at a really good price, and you put your order in, and then when it comes in, you have it. So it's pretty simple. These are beans from our garden this year that I've just canned up. They're pretty simple. Nothing fancy about them. These ones here are seasoned, so these ones here are plain. These ones are seasoned with some peppercorns and a little bit of garlic, and they all have just a little bit of salt in them. These are plain ones. I had some combination at the end of the season. You know how you have a little bit of different everything. So those are the beans. These are potatoes that I canned this year. This is my first year for doing these, and I dry canned them, which means that I didn't put any liquid in the jar to can them. And what you see here is the starch that came off them. So before I did this pantry tour, I wanted to try them so I could tell you what I thought of them. So the other day I made sort of like a hash with onions and steak that I had cooked and cut up. And I took these and rinsed them really well and put them in and seasoned it up as you would do. They were really good. They were really, really good. The flavor is perfect. These are only seasoned with salt. Some people will do garlic, some people will do other things, but I just wanted mine plain because I wasn't sure how I was going to use them. So these here are spicy dill. So I've done some chips for burgers, and these are whole dill pickles. This here is a favorite of mine that I will do every single year. This here is an onion broth. This is the most flavorful, I think, of all of the broths that I do. I do beef, chicken, onion, and I also do a pho broth here because we like ramen noodles, and so I do a pho broth that has all of the pho flavorings in it. So this is a favorite. This here is just a tomato sauce. We did a video on that already. These are just mixed veggies that I've canned up, and they're just done in a vinegar brine. Down here we just have some more dill pickles. I thought some people may want to see this idea. This is how I keep my lids. So if you can at all, you know that when you can and you store your jars, you actually do not store them with the lids. You take the lids off. And so in the event that, let's say, something happens and there's spoilage of some sort or something, the lid will pop off. And that way you'll know that the food is no longer good. Something happened and you can't eat it. If you have your ring stored on it and something happens to your food, that lid can't pop off. It can't let you know that the food is bad. So all of my food, and most canners, I think every canner I know, will store without their rings, okay? As a result, I have a lot of rings that I need to store until I open these jars. And so all I have is a hook here. I put it through, and I have another hook here, and I put it through here. So these are just my regular rings, lids, and I have another spot for my large ones, okay? So, corn relish. This here is pretty simple, corn relish. This is my green relish. This is my zucchini relish, which is a pretty popular recipe with friends and family. So I've recently done a video on this, and I highly recommend that you try it. It's, I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Here I have just some mustard beans that I did. These here are some more bread and butter pickles that I did, a favorite of ours as well. Some more mustard pickles and some green tomato chow, which is another favorite of ours with boiled dinner and that sort of thing. Down here I have some tomato juice that I did. This is what floats to the top when I do my sauce, depending upon the type of tomatoes that I use. And so I continue removing it, and it makes an incredible, like, this is the best tomato juice I have ever tasted in my life. If you've never made your own tomato juice, rather than letting that water evaporate off the top, remove it and can your own tomato juice. It's amazing. This here is more tomato sauce, more tomato sauce, more tomato sauce. We use a lot of tomato sauce. And these are some diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes that we use. We have quite a few of those. And right here are just my pie pumpkins. So what I'll do is I'll just roast those, puree them, and can them up. Or actually, I shouldn't say can. I prefer freezing these because The flavor is much better when you freeze it. So I think we've covered everything here. I don't know if you have any questions. If you do, just put them below. If you're interested in seeing any of these things, I can always can up a small recipe for you just to show you how we did it. And it's such a nice way to store a lot of the produce and things that you get in the summer if you have gardens, or even if you have a lot of things in the summer that are available at a reasonable price. A couple of other things that I do is I buy onions when they're really inexpensive. Like you can get a 10-pound bag for $2.99 right now. And I will dice them and put them in freezer bags and just lay them flat. And when they freeze, you can just break them up, and that's perfect for soups and stews and that sort of thing. You can do the same thing with green peppers. You could probably do the same thing with red peppers, but I haven't done that. I tend to do it with green peppers because they tend to be firmer. This is my first year, as I said, doing the potatoes. But anytime I see a sale on something, I always try to figure out a way that I can sort of preserve it, and so that I take advantage of the price and I'm getting the products when they're at their peak. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take a second to click subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.